Hi, this is Dan here. I hope you're doing really well today. In this lesson, I'm going to show you some really famous bass riffs that use just octaves. The octave is a really, really simple interval. Oct means 8, so it's 8 notes away in a scale. And here's a really good pattern. So we've got a G on the 3rd fret of the E string. Go 2 frets higher, 2 strings down towards the floor, and you get a low G and a high G. Okay, these are octaves apart. Towards the end of the lesson, I'm going to show you how you can use that interval to make up your own bass lines. But let's have a look at this. This is Gimme Some Lovin'. So we're doing high G's here, and it just repeats that. This is the intro. Now you may be used to alternate plucking, where you might start on your index and you just go index, middle, over and over, or you start on your middle and go middle, index, over and over. Some people prefer to start plucking on one finger or the other. I tend to be an index person, pluck with the index first. But when you've got octaves, you're often skipping over a string. Well, you are skipping over a string like this, in this case the A. So if I start with my index, it's really awkward for me anyway to go index on the D and then middle on the E. It just feels weird. So I'll just jump index, no problem with that. If I started with my middle, well then I can go middle, which is the longer finger of the middle index, and go middle and then index, and that feels much less awkward than the other way around. That's just the way I feel about it. You must experiment, see what works with you, but let's start with the middle. And that's just that instantly recognizable, isn't it? Even though we've just got 2 notes. We stay on the same notes. We have my Sharona, okay? Exactly the same notes. This time we go from a low to a high one. And again, it's instantly recognizable. So here, I might feel more comfortable again starting with middle, because I go middle index, and then I can just make sure that my middle is ready to pluck the D. So I'm going, try not to be stiff and too sort of anchored to here, because I need to get to the D. So you've got this little pivot over the pickup, if that helps. Okay, so I'm going middle index, and then really quickly getting to that D with the middle again. But there, it feels more comfortable for me to go, so index on the D, and then jump back down with the index on the E, which technically isn't following that alternate plucking thing, but you can always break rules, and that's what I'm doing here. And there I'm just going shorter index finger, longer middle finger for the D, index on the E, middle on the D. That's what I'm doing. But certainly there, going from 2 E's to a D, it makes more sense for me to go middle, index, and then middle. Then we've got this bit where we just slide back to the G from an F sharp. So keep your finger pressed in and do the slide. And if you want the My Sharona bit, it's C, B flat, C, B flat. If you move down 1 fret, we have the Immigrant Song, Led Zeppelin. I love this riff. It's really fast and frenetic. And I think it makes sense to just have a little think about what the pattern should be in terms of plucking hand fingers. And I'm doing this. I'm going low F sharp, high F sharp. This time I'm going middle, middle index. That allows me to then get that longer finger onto the D. Not sure if he plays this with a plectrum. I think he might do actually, but let's stick with fingers. Okay, so once I've plucked the high D string, it's an F sharp. I can return to the low one with the index. And for me, it's all about that shorter finger is much more easily placed to pluck the E string and the middle on the D. Okay, after that, it sort of just, it keeps in the flow. After the index on the E, starting again, middle index. I'm deliberately not giving you tab in this lesson and the other ones that I've done that's on Dorian, Mixolydian, all kinds of different bass lines. Have a look at those videos, you might like those. Because it's all about your ear here and connecting all of these, the technical aspects that you have to do, getting a bit of a closer connection. I think that if you're too reliant on tab, then ultimately in the long run it's not so great for you. Once you've got it though, once you've got that pattern, then you kind of can get into the flow. This is chucking. It's a Bernard Edwards pioneered technique, which is absolutely brilliant. Now, I've done videos on chucking and I've done videos on this entire bass line. I'll put links to that. But that's how it goes, but I'm going to revert to fingers, okay? And we've got this sort of this rhythm where we've got a low note and then two on the top. And thinking about it, this time I'm going to start index and then jump to the D string and pluck that with index as well. Because then I can do index middle really quickly. Then I can get back to the start again and do the same pattern over and over again. And then at the end there, we slide up. Same pattern, octaves again, B flat this time, 6th fret and 8th fret of the E and the D. Now this is very similar to the next bass line, which is car wash. And the genre is similar. It's kind of like funk, disco-y funk. Now that's the chorus to car wash. And I'll show you something you can do here. So we're starting on the D, 5th fret of the A string, but because it's on the A, we can still do the same pattern. 2 across, 2 down. A little bit of shifting required here, so it's D. As soon as you finish the high D, shift down to the 2nd fret, that's B. We'll just go up chromatically. And the same way we did 2 notes at the top, we can kind of do that here. Just to make up some sort of funky disco thing. So let's try this. I'm going on the C and the D, the C and the C sharp, the 3rd and 4th frets. Put a note on the top. There and there. And just try and keep that going. You can even do that 2 on the bottom. So that's index, middle, index, middle. Very good exercise. Octaves present a technical challenge because you're skipping a string, okay? So you've got to be aware of that. Even do some ghost notes. Disco octaves are great because you can add in those funky kind of techniques, and even though you're using the simplest interval that you can possibly think of, you can add some real funk into it. Now, Hotel California goes the first bit. It's an octave, except in the middle we've got a 5th, and I'll just show you this. If going 2 across and 2 down gives you an octave pattern, I'm on a B here, 7th fret E string. If you go 2 across, but this time only 1 string down, you get the interval of a 5th and a root 5th octave. This is used so much in bass playing because you can play those on almost any chord. So I'm not going to do Hotel California, I'm going to do something in the style of and show you. I just did octaves at the end. I'm just going B, A, G, 7th fret, 5th fret, 3rd fret. It's kind of a B minor-y type thing, but just playing octaves and maybe sticking a 5th in there. It's amazing how many bass lines use very simple notes like that, a root, an octave, and a fifth. So hopefully that will give you some ideas in terms of if you want to make up bass lines, just keep things simple and use roots, octaves, and maybe a fifth. Also, in keeping with the no tab of this lesson and having to use your ears, do just that. Put on some bass lines or some songs that you really like, have a little listen to the bass lines, and just try and figure out, not all of them are going to be doing octaves and fifths, there might be other things going on. I did a load of lessons showing very famous bass lines that use, say, you know, minor pentatonic, major pentatonic, what else did I do? Dorian, Mixolydian, major, minor. And you can find loads of patterns within these bass lines when you really listen. So I hope you found that little lesson useful. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you have any questions, put them below and I'll get back to you. Thanks very much. See you next time.